Your Grace, Corlys Velaryon the Sea Snake said, when the few remaining of the once proud Green Council had assembled, you must surrender. The city cannot endure another attack. Save your people and save yourself. If you abdicate in favour of Prince Aegon, he will allow you to take the Black and live out your life with honour on the wall. Will he? King Aegon said. Munkin tells us he sounded hopeful. His mother entertained no such hope. You fed his mother to your dragon, she reminded her son. The boy saw it all. The king turned to her desperately. What would you have me do? You have hostages, the Dowager Queen replied. Cut off one of the boy's ears and send it to Lord Tully. Warn them he will lose another part for every mile they advance towards King's Landing. Yes, Aegon said. Good. It shall be done. He summoned Sir Alfred Broom, who had served him so well on Dragonstone. Go and see to it, sir. As the knight took his leave, the king turned to Corlys Velaryon. Tell your bastard to fight bravely, my lord. If he fails me, if any of these Braavosi pass the gullet, your precious Lady Baela should lose some parts as well. The sea snake did not plead, or curse, or threaten. He just nodded stiffly, rose, and took his leave. Mushroom says he exchanged a look with the clubfoot as he went, but Mushroom was not present, and seems unlikely that a man as seasoned as Corlys Velaryon would act so clumsily in such a vital moment, for Aegon's days were done, though he had not yet grasped it. The turncloaks in his midst had put their plans in motion the moment they learned of Lord Baratheon's defeat upon the King's Road. As Sir Alfred Broom crossed the drawbridge to Maegor's Holdfast, where Prince Aegon was being held, he found Sir Perkin the Flea and 6 of his gutter knights barring his way. Move aside, in the King's name, Broom demanded. We have a new king now, answered Sir Perkin. He put a hand upon Sir Alfred's shoulders, then shoved him hard, sending him staggering off the drawbridge onto the iron spikes below, where he withered and twisted for 2 days as he died. In that same hour, Lady Baela Targaryen was spirited away to safety by agents of Lord Larys the Clubfoot. Tom Tangletongue was surprised in the castle yards as he was leaving the stables, and beheaded quickly. He died as he lived, stammering. His father, Tom Tanglebeard, was absent from the castle, but they found him in a tavern on Eel Alley. When he protested that he was just a simple fisherman, come to have an ale, his captors drowned him in a cask of the same. All of this was done so neatly, swiftly, and quietly that the people of King's Landing had no inkling of what was happening behind the walls of the Red Keep. Even within the castle itself, no alarm went up. Those who had been marked down for death were killed, while the rest of the court went about their normal business, undisturbed and unawares. Certain Eustace tells us that 24 men were killed, while Munkin's true telling says 21. Mushroom claims to have witnessed the murder of the king's food taster, a grossly fat man named Ummet, and asserts that he was forced to hide in a barrel of flour to escape the same fate, emerging the next night floured from head to heel, so white that the first serving girl to see him took him for a ghost. Queen Alicent was arrested on the Serpentine Step as she made her way back to her chambers. Her captors wore the seahorse of House Velaryon upon their doublets, and though they slew 2 men guarding her, they did no harm to the Dowager Queen herself, nor to her ladies. The Queen in chains was chained again, and taken to the dungeon, there to await the pleasure of the new boy king. By then, the last of her sons was already dead. After the council meeting, King Aegon II was carried down to the yard by 2 strong squires. There he found a litter waiting. As was customary, his withered legs made steps too difficult for him, even with a crutch. Sir Giles Belgrave, the Kingsguard knight commanding his escort, testified afterwards that his grace seemed unusually fatigued as he was helped into his litter, his face grey and ashen, sagging. Yet instead of asking to be carried back to his chambers, he told Sir Giles to take him to the castle sept. Perhaps he sensed his end was near, Septon Eustace would later write, and wished to pray for forgiveness for his sins. A cold wind was blowing. As the litter set off, the king closed the curtains against the chill. Inside, as always, was a flagon of sweet arbor red, Aegon's favourite wine. The king availed himself of a small cup as the litter crossed the yard. Sir Giles and the litter bearers had no notion that anything was amiss until they reached the sept, and the curtains did not open. "We are here, your grace," the knight said, but no answer came, only silence. When a second quarry and a third produced the same, Sir Giles Belgrave threw back the curtains and found the king dead upon his cushions. There was blood upon his lips, the knight said. Elsewise, he might have very well been sleeping. Maesters and common men alike still debate which poison was used and who might have put it in the king's wine. Some even argue that only Sir Giles himself could have done so, but it would be unthinkable for a knight of the Kingsguard to take the life of the king he had sworn to protect. Amit, the king's food taster, whose murder Mushroom claims to have seen, seems a more likely candidate. Yet whilst the hand that poisoned the Arbor Red will never be known, we can have no doubts that it was done at the behest of Larys Strong, the clubfoot. Thus perished Aegon of House Targaryen, the second of his name, firstborn son of King Viserys I Targaryen and Queen Alicent of House Hightower, whose reign proved as brief as it was bitter. He lived 24 years and reigned for 2. When the vanguard of Lord Tully's host appeared before the walls of King's Landing 2 days later, Corlys Velaryon rode out to greet them with Prince Aegon, sombre at his side. "The king is dead," the sea snake announced gravely. "Long live the king." And across Blackwater Bay, in the gullet, Lord Leowen Corbray stood at the prow of a Braavosi cog and watched the line of Velaryon warships haul down the golden dragon of the second Aegon and raise in his place the red of the first, the banner that all Targaryen kings had flown until the Dance of the Dragons had begun. The war was over, though the peace that followed would soon prove to be far from peaceful. On the 7th day of the 7th moon of the year 131 after Aegon's conquest, a date deemed sacred to the gods, the High Septon of Oldtown pronounced marriage vows of Prince Aegon the Younger, eldest son of Queen Rhaenyra, by her uncle Prince Daemon, wed Princess Jaehaera, the daughter of Queen Helena, by her brother King Aegon II, thereby uniting the 2 rival branches of House Targaryen and ending 2 years of treachery and carnage. The Dance of the Dragons was all but done, but still not over, as the melancholy reign of King Aegon III had begun, as lords from across the 7 kingdoms moved for King's Landing to forge the tenuous peace.